Hey there, welcome to the Family History Foundation. I'm Franklin, and this is the Family History Foundation, where the past is relative to the future. And you can find us over on familyhistoryfoundation.com. And today we're going to get into some good stuff. Free genealogy research, ultimate top 20 websites. Before we do that, like and subscribe to support family history and genealogy, and check the description for more genealogy goodies. Okay, so here is free genealogy research, the ultimate top 20 websites. So exploring your family history can be a fascinating journey. Free genealogy research helps unravel tales of your ancestors and connects you with your heritage. However, this journey can often seem daunting and expensive. But fortunately, the internet offers a wealth of resources out there that allow you to conduct free genealogy research. And I know we are all after that. Okay, so in this comprehensive guide, I'm going to explore the top 20 websites that provide free access to genealogical records and tips and highlights of potential challenges you may encounter along the way. So not all of these free access portals are built the same, so let's cover them right now. Okay, the best free one, hands down, FamilySearch. Okay, so if you guys are somewhat moderate seasoned genealogists, you'll know FamilySearch very well. If not, you guys have to check that out. FamilySearch is a vast repository of free genealogical records, okay, maintained by the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, and it boasts a collection of over 6 billion records. Their search database is not the most user-friendly at times, but when you find stuff, it is golden. So FamilySearch is kind of like the best place to go, okay? Extensive databases, they have a learning center, volunteer indexing, and it's a trusted site that I've used for many, many, many years, okay? Number 2, the National Archives. This is a really cool, underutilized place. In my opinion. The National Archives provides free access to a treasure trove of historical documents and records, including census data, military service records, and immigration files. So there's a lot of stuff there with their digital collections, and they have educational resources. There's a National Archives for the United States, but also if you're trying to track down records in the UK, there's a National Archives UK records. Find the links, head over to Family History Foundation, read the full article, and you can find that all there. Okay, now, number 3, find a grave. Okay, find a grave. Oh boy, if you are a regular reader of my site, you'll understand the controversy that has been surrounding Find the Grave for several years, and I've dug extensively into that. However, all that being said, I love Find the Grave, and I think the platform, well, the service that they provide, which is documenting gravestones, grave sites around the nation, world, is just an incredible service, okay? But it's a user-contributed database of cemetery records, basically what it is. And it allows you to search and contribute information about grave sites from around the world. So you can go and get information, you can search, but you can also start your own cemetery records and pages dedicated to ancestors, which I have done. So I've sort of honored them on Find a Grave. So highlights, grave listings, user contributions, community support, which can be hit or miss over there, but all in all, the community support is pretty amazing. I love Find a Grave, so place to go on over and check it out. Also, if you go to my blog, check out the full article. I link to an article entitled Complaints Ignored, as Find a Grave new site is getting worse. Okay, so that's 3. 4 is Cyndi's List. Cyndi's List is this compendium, this sort of clearinghouse of records, categories, and cross-reference. It's like a list of links. I don't know if you remember years ago, there was all these list sites that came out on the internet, but it's a list of genealogical research sites online. So it's kind of, it makes my list because it's a list of lists. And so, it's a good place to start if you're just like, where do I find this information about this source kind of niche topic? You can go over there. So highlights, features over 30,000 links categorized into more than 200 categories. It's continuously updated, so it's all, sitting there working, free access. Anyone can go over there and use it. And I like to support Cyndi's List because, hey, they support us. Okay, so Family History Foundation has been featured on Cindy's list from some of the stuff that we've contributed. So I like to contribute them, and head on over there because they're a really, really great site, great bunch of people. Okay, USGenWeb project, which is number 5. USGenWeb project offers free genealogy websites for genealogical research in every U.S. state and county. Okay, so obviously researching U.S. states is big because you have to get down to the county level at some point. So this is a great place because it's state and county. Highlights provides a network of websites with free resources for every state and county in the United States. It's volunteer run, so those that are volunteer are very obviously passionate about what they do. So, major support to them. And, the more you use these sites, the better it is for them. So special projects includes census projects, tombstone transcription projects, which, if you are sort of researching, very, very important, crucial sometimes to have those tombstone transcription, the accuracy of it, because I've visited sites trying to look at tombstones, and sometimes they're so eroded or weather worn that you can't really get, and people suggest tracing them or putting water on it, all these sorts of things, but which do work. So, some of the things that they do over there, USGenWeb project makes number 5 on the list here. Number 6, from small to big, the Library of Congress. Number 6, the Library of Congress offers a range of resources useful for genealogical research, including digital collections and research guides. The digital collections are a wide array of historical documents, right? Because it's the Library of Congress. It's our national library, basically. Newspapers, maps, photographs. Research guides. Chronicling America is a feature that was put out by the Library of Congress, which is a feature that provides access to America's historic newspapers, and it's being digitized. You have newspapers.com, which is a paid thing, but if you don't know of Chronicling America, they've taken some of the smaller newspapers too and digitized them, which is really, really neat. It's searchable, and I've used it many, many times to find things. So Library of Congress, head on over there. Okay. 7, if you're looking for immigration information in the early days, Ellis Island's Foundation website provides access to passenger records for immigrants who entered the United States through Ellis Island. Okay. And Ellis Island, of course, is in New York, formerly Castle Garden, and I've written some articles on the history of the place and immigration records during that period of time. So the Ellis Island Foundation, and actually I've done some really keen research there where I've gone through several sites, including Ancestry and including FamilySearch, but found stuff on Ellis Island that did not exist anywhere else because they had access to the original passenger records. And I found information from my great-grandparents coming over through Ellis Island and got to actually get the original copies through them. And it was such an amazing breakthrough to me as a family historian, genealogist. So they have passenger records, searchable database of ships manifests and things like that. Sometimes the search function I had a little bit of, kind of quabbles with it, but, at the end of the day, I found what I wanted. So, anybody can do it, right? If I can do it, you can do it. And interactive tools help you search and understand passenger records, including ship images. The manifest records are really what you're after. Educational resources, and trust me, once you get into ship manifests, you're going to really have to learn how to interpret handwriting. It's going to be a crucial skill that you're going to need, okay? Which applies in general once you get back in your genealogy research. Comprehensive source records, and that's it. Ellis Island Foundation, number 7. Remember, we got 20, so we're moving along here. BillionGraves is the next one. It's another one aiming to preserve cemetery records by providing an interactive website where users can contribute photos and transcription of headstones. BillionGraves is good. The challenge is, though, like Find the Grave, the quality of records depends on user contributions, which may vary in accuracy. But I kind of like Find the Grave better, if I'm honest. Number 9. But I say that with love because I think the more sites and people are out there starting these businesses and organizations to help preserve I think the better. So 9 is Digital Public Library of America, the DPLA, and they aggregate millions of photographs, manuscripts, books, and other historical records from libraries, archives, and museums across the United States with massive searchable aggregates. It provides a unified search platform for accessing diverse collections from across the country. So, it's kind of cool. RootsWeb, number 10. RootsWeb has been around for a long time. Kind of started as this wing of Ancestry.com, which was like a free genealogy forum community. And I've had great success. I can tell you amazing success stories from RootsWeb. They had forum, mailing lists, and search tool for genealogical data. So RootsWeb is another cool place to find information, because oftentimes if you're not just, you're looking for records, but the breakthroughs that you make in genealogy oftentimes comes from the people holding those records. And where are they going to share those records? On places like RootsWeb and smaller sort of what I call couture websites, right? And when you get access to that, or you make a connection, which would probably be a family member. So you're actually just growing your genealogy that way by connecting with other family members and interested parties, okay? So participate in the forums and mailing lists. Olive Tree Genealogy, number 11. Olive Tree Genealogy offers free genealogy resources, including ship passenger lists, military records, and more. So they have immigration records, military records, historical contexts around those information. So Olive Tree Genealogy, it's kind of like another sort of competitor maybe to like Ancestry and stuff. And I always tout Ancestry. I think that place is just the best place to go, and I say that because I have a paid subscription there. So I love that place, and Ancestry.com has it it's like the best one-stop place to go. So Olive Tree Genealogy, but they have free stuff over there. Okay, Ancestry doesn't always have free stuff. FreeBMD. So any serious scholar or researcher in genealogy and family history is going to want access to the BMD records. If you do not know what a BMD record is, hold your socks right now, because it obviously stands for birth, marriage, and death records. So if you're trying to plot points in time where your ancestors were or who they were connected to, these are the records that you really, really want to get hold of, because they pinpoint dates, they pinpoint locations, and other records by virtue of the fact that they're birth, marriage, and death records, and you had to have some sort of cross-coordination of record holders. So these free BMD records for England and Wales, for the United States, they list civil registration indexes, volunteer-driven, regular updates going on. So free BMD is another cool place. The other kind of tip that I have embedded in this is go over to Family History Foundation, click on the link to the article itself, and then just go and bookmark all these sites. I mean, really, honestly, create a bookmark folder, create all these things in there, and then you have this sort of list of things. It's like your Rolodex. Okay, so number 13, GenForum. Okay, take a break, take a breath. This is going really quickly, and I want you guys to sort of not get analysis paralysis, and maybe if you want to just jump back in right now. Sorry, I'm always sort of conscious of where people are at when they're listening or watching these things, because it can be a lot. And I do tend to talk fast and get very excited about things. So I want you to stay with me here, okay? GenForum is a genealogy message board where researchers can post queries and exchange information about specific surnames, locations, and topics, okay? Its very nature is like free genealogy research, right? Surnames are great. Anytime you can get a forum or people discussing surnames, that is crucial, right? Because surnames vary in spelling and location, and so if you can lock onto surname and get even that little bit of information you wanted about anything that really sometimes can open and unlock doors, okay? And it's got a particularly cool search function. So GenForum, number 13. Okay, 14, Access Genealogy. Access Genealogy offers free access to a variety of genealogical records and resources, including Native American records, military records, and historical documents. So this is kind of cool. You have Native American records embedded in there, extensive collections. There's military records, historical documents. Okay, so Access Genealogy is another option you might want to explore. And each of these, it's like if you have if the totality of genealogy or information is like a buffet, right? Like a lot of these sites just have particular entrees in the buffet. Not one site has everything out there, okay? So it's important to understand that there's there's crossover. Not everybody has everything. So you got to go to a different bunch of sites in order to get everything. Think about it that way. Whatever analogy sort of suits your brain to think about that, okay? Number 15, HeritageQuest. HeritageQuest is a really cool site. When they first came out, I was like, oh, it's another ancestry or whatever. But, they're really, really cool and dynamic. And I actually really value HeritageQuest. It's available also through many public libraries, okay, and offers access to a variety of genealogical and historical resources. So given the fact that you can get on it through a library, a public library, that makes it free. You can go down and get access records, log on, get your library card, go down there and have fun with it, okay? So again, census records, links to books and periodicals, okay, which is cool. And those books and periodicals aren't just history books or stuff like that, right? Which, get on my soapbox for a second, I think understanding the historical context of any era you're researching is unbelievably crucial if you're going to do a deep dive into how people lived, okay? That's what makes family history, and not just genealogy, okay? But digitized books, city directories, historical publications. I am a huge fan of city directories, looking up people's addresses, looking up where they lived, who their neighbors were, okay? This is huge. I've had huge breakthroughs. I mean, I kind of understood how my grandmother and grandma met on one side of my family because I never had heard the story, but when I went through city directories, I found like, hey, they live 2 blocks away. Well, obviously that's how they met each other. So, huge breakthroughs. Research aids that you can have through HeritageQuest. Okay. 16, online searchable death indexes and records, or indices, depends on how you want to pronounce it. This website provides links to online death records, cemetery records, and obituary databases. Okay, again, it's kind of like a BMD thing, right? Birth, marriage, and death records. But often, right, when somebody passes away, other family members have to be there and vouchsafe for whatever's happening, right? So it's a great sort of thing to understand people during that time. Okay, so death records, cemetery, obituaries are on here. Okay, and number 17, WorldGenWeb project, another sort of outcropping. This is a non-profit, volunteer-driven project that provides free access to genealogical resources and information for countries, and this is where it comes in. That's cool. It's around the world. Okay, so it's WorldGenWeb project, not just a GenWeb project. It's the WorldGenWeb project, right? As opposed to, it's like an arm of the USGenWeb project. And this is amazing because all of our ancestors came from somewhere, and at some point in your genealogy, depending on its layers and nuances, you're going to have to go abroad, outside of the US, I'm speaking, okay? And, that holds true in any country. People moved a lot. There's one thing I found early on in my genealogy journey and research, just from my own family history, is that people moved a lot, man. And so being able to track them down over borders, and what those borders were back in time, the farther you go back in time, it's good to have resources like this, okay? Number 18, the New York Public Library digital collections, okay? Digital collections are amazing. The day and age we live in where things get digitized is fabulous because now they're opened up and now they're searchable. We don't have to pour through boxes and the Dewey Decimal System anymore, right? Those old trays of library cards, if you remember that. So the New York Public Library, the NYPL, offers a rich collection of digitized materials, including maps, love maps, manuscripts, photographs, that are useful for genealogy research. Family history, okay, digital collections. You never know what you might find in a photograph, okay? And number 19, genealogy trails. Genealogy trails provides free access. Again, we're hearing this word a lot because this is what the article is about, to genealogical and historical data for each U.S. state and many counties. Okay, so these are our top 20 websites. This is 19 state and county pages, network of websites with free genealogy research resources. So there's like layers of this. It's volunteer run. Each site is maintained by volunteers who provide access to transcripts of public records, blah, 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 historical data, resources, special projects, cemetery transcriptions. And I think that's super valuable that people do that, because people go out there, volunteer to transcribe what they see, so that anyone else can have access to that. And I've done that before. You know, not a lot. I'd like to plan more trips where I can go out and detail cemeteries for other family members and people. I think it's a huge thing to do. And number 20, here we go. Open Library. Okay, Open Library is a project of the Internet Archive that provides access to millions of digitized books. And many of those books include genealogy and resources about genealogy. So it's kind of a cool place, and it's open library. So you can get in and look at books. Maybe you'll find something about a place or genealogy, family histories, because back centuries ago, I shouldn't say centuries ago, back before we had the internet, people would publish records of their family trees or records of family histories, their stories, things like that, and wrote them down. And sometimes these books remain with families, other times they were donated to libraries, and thankfully now they're being digitized and we can have access to those family histories, local stories from places. Like if you're trying to find that your ancestor lived in a certain town or was in a certain village, and maybe you don't understand the mores or the social ways or the worldview of that village back then. Like if you read local stories and local histories, it really might clue you in to who your ancestors were, because they were a product of that social environment, right? That political environment. And you really kind of almost getting a little biography of who that person was beyond like they were born in a date in this year, in this town, in this location. Maybe you can glean something about who they were as people. I found locations where the plague went through, or like, there was like some sort of economic downturn, and then, 2 years later they moved. Well, maybe that's why they moved, right? So you can kind of understand a little bit more about our ancestors, which is why we are the Family History Foundation. Okay, so that's it. 20 top 20 websites. If you go on over to read the full article, you're really going to love this, because I give you general tips for free genealogy research. Okay, and there are 5 of them in there. Okay, really, really top tips. So check the link below for the reference. Head on over to the article itself, and I give you 5 really stellar general tips for genealogy research, free genealogy research. And also, on top of that, there's a whole nother section that I wrote down there called challenges in free genealogy research. So it kind of goes over, okay, what you might find, here's how to get it, but what if you come across things like incomplete records or navigational difficulties, right? Things like that. I cover that in that final section down there, okay? Well, thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you very, very much. Again, head on over to FamilyHistoryFoundation.com for more stuff. There's all kinds of cool things there. And all right, love you. See you in the next one.